So till now we have discussed or we have seen that why basically intersymbol interference occurs. So basically this occurs due to finite channel bandwidth. Being the channel bandwidth being finite, it is not possible for the channel bandwidth to allow all the frequency components of a signal to be passed through it, and that is the reason at the receiver end the pulses that we receive at the receiver end basically widens out. That means it spreads out in both left and right direction, which and that widens basically creates inter-symbol interference. Now here now here we look into a solution of this problem. That means we look into a process that will help us to provide a solution of this intersymbol interference effect, or the ISI effect. Now this process was proposed by a famous engineer called scientist called Nyquist. So this process is known as the Nyquist ideal solution process. It's known as Nyquist ideal solution. Now you observe this word ideal in between it. So this is in short is called the ideal solution of ISI. So if we notice this word ideal, what it means basically that this process is basically theoretical in nature. That means you can provide solution to this process in a theoretical manner, but in practically this process cannot be applied due to some of the constraints. So remember that this process is theoretically okay, it gives a solution, but this process practically cannot be applied. I will explain why it can be applied practically later words. So first we look into the solution. So here the idea is that if my channel bandwidth is this, like the channel pass band looks like this, that is this is the zero frequency point, and so this is your pass band, the positive frequency region, and this is the pass band in the negative frequency region, and outside this region it is stop band. So if we design a signal that will be used for communication, that means the signal will be used for communicating 1 and 0. If that very particular signals frequency spectra, all the frequency spectra of that particular signal lies within the pass band of the channel then there will be no problem of transmission. That means if I design a signal whose entire frequency spectra lies within the passband of the channel, then there will be no distortion in the receiving end. Okay, so now Nyquist proposed that we can use a signal whose frequency spectra is exactly same with the channel frequency characteristics. So this is my channel frequency characteristics. So Nyquist proposed that we can use a pulse for transmission of 1 and 0 whose frequency spectra is exactly identical to the channel bandwidth characteristics. For that, what will happen? All the frequency spectra will lie inside the allowed bandwidth of the channel. That means it will lie inside the pass band of the channel. So now the question is that if I take such a signal whose frequency spectra looks like the channel bandwidth spectra, then what will be the signal time domain shape? So what will be the set signal's time domain shape? So you know that if I do a Fourier transform of a rectangular pulse, I get a sinc pulse. This is a sinc pulse. So that means if some signal's frequency spectra looks like this, a rectangular in shape, then the time domain the signal will look like a sinc pulse. Now here this sync. So if we use a sync pulse for communication, for communicating 1 and communicating 0. That means previously we are using rectangular pulses for communication, for transmitting a 1 and transmitting a 0. Now onwards, Nyquist proposed that instead of a rectangular pulse, we can use a sync pulse for communication of 1 and a 0. So if I want to communicate a 1, I will send a positive sync pulse, and if I want to communicate a 0, then I will be sending a negative sync pulse. So Nyquist proposed that one positive sync pulse, the positive sync pulse should be used for communication of 1. That whenever I want to transmit a 1, I will be transmitting a positive sync pulse, and whenever I want to transmit a 0, I will be transmitting a negative sync pulse. So here the sync pulses are also known as Nyquist pulses. The sync pulses are also known as Nyquist pulses. So we can say theoretically, by using Nyquist pulses instead of rectangular pulses, we can avoid the problem of ISI. The reason is that the entire spectra of the sync pulse, entire frequency spectra of the sync pulse will lie inside the passband region of the channel. As I've told you, this is the ideal solution. Ideal means theoretical solution, but not a practical solution. So what is the most difficulty that arises due to the practical? What are the difficulties that arise when we try to apply this in practical manner? So the first thing is that, as you know, that the sync pulse is not a time-bound pulse. It's not a finite pulse. It's basically a infinite pulse. So that means in this direction it extends to plus infinity. In this direction it extends to minus infinity. So if I am trying to using a Nyquist, if I try to using a Nyquist pulse or a sync pulse, then how much time it will be required to generate such a pulse? The answer is infinite. So to generate infinite pulses, so here we have to generate a pulse that have an infinite time duration. So that means for generating the pulse itself, you require infinite time. So practically it is not possible. Practically it is not possible for us to design a system which requires one pulse to be generated using infinite amount of time. So that's why this is a practical limitation of this Nyquist pulse. It is okay in theory, but it is not okay in with practical.